What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother Mythos Kush Renata from the channel Frost and Fists, and welcome to this video. Now, this video is a response video. I have been tagged by my man Spekd, one of my favorite channels, and I definitely want to encourage you to go check out his channel because not only does he have great Conquest review videos, but he's also got a gorgeously painted Sons of the Phoenix army, and he does a lot of what I like to call, you know, hobby MacGyver stuff, using super glue to create flame effects, using tea bags and spices as flocking, and using foil to make purity seals and stuff like that. He has a lot of cool things on his channel. Go check out my brother Spekd. But Spekd tagged me in response to a video where he was tagged in, and basically our boy the WeatherPig has started a community response challenge, whereas we all talk about some of our favorite models in our collection, and then we tag other people to do the same, talking about their favorite models in the collection. So I like to call it the Show Us What You Got challenge. Now in this, your Wolf Brother always got to do something different, you guys know. And so what I've decided to do is I'm going to show you guys a lot of models, probably more models than I've seen anyone do in the challenge so far, just because I have to go off the rails at some point, you know, got to be different. But the reason that I wanted to do this is because I have a lot of things in my collection personally that I want to show you, but also I want to use this as a platform to show some of the incredible work that's been gifted to your Wolf Brother over my last 4 years on YouTube. So I've had a lot of blessings from a lot of brilliant community members who do phenomenal work, and I want to showcase that here in this video as well. So you're going to see the best stuff in my collection, whether I did it or whether somebody else did it. So let's take a look at some of these models. So before I show you the best stuff in my collection, I gotta show you the humble beginnings of where I started. Now with this, it's my very first model I ever painted in 40K. It is my very first Space Wolf Bloodclaw. And this is the pack leader here. And this is it. This is just black and silver, minimalistic. But that's exactly what I wanted at first. The only updates I've ever made is I did a power sword effect when the gem effects came out from GW. This is Soulstone Blue I'd put over my silver sword. But black and a very bright silver. And that's where I started. So I feel like I do good work now, but everybody's got to start somewhere. And actually, my lovely sister Kelly painted this up for me at my request because I never felt like I had the confidence or the ability to paint a gorgeous HQ like Canis Wolfborn. And for the longest time, Canis was my absolute favorite. And so she painted this up for me, and she did an incredible job. She even did eyes, which I can't do eyes now. So I feel like this is gorgeous work by Kelly. The color balance is off. I apologize for that, but she did a great job on the White Wolf as well as Canis. Here is one of my models I did based off actually one of my brothers named Daz. And this is my redone Arjak. And Arjak, I put a Spellcrow head on. I did a Cromlech hammer, and I really felt like you beefed up Arjak this way. And this was after I found my new stride with black and silver, but with also some blue tones, some nice cool frosty tones, and my power sword effects. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces after bringing my skill level up with Space Wolves. Next, I have a gift, Geigor Fellhand, as given to me by the Shadowcat, you know, friend of the channel, and she sent this over for me, and she said, make sure you use him. I want to see this guy in battle. And almost anytime I break out the Blood Claws, this is the Wolfguard pack leader that is leading them. And I absolutely love the work that she did. She did the old school 30K colors, and man, she really made Geigor look awesomely. The face, the details, I mean, I love everything about this gift she did for me. So really incredibly talented work, Shadowcat. Thank you so much. Next, I have this Venerable Dreadnought. Now, this was actually a kit bash because I had bought a used Dreadnought and it was missing some pieces. So it kind of ended up in a way that I was kind of forced into this awkward pose, but I decided to make a story out of it you know, throw that Tau ghost keeled helmet in the ocean. And this is where I really first started to play with water effects too in my basing. And for a lot of my major pieces afterwards, I would continue to do that. So this was a really special piece. Plus Freak did the purple power sword and shield effects for me. So I really, really love the way that this came out. Next, got Logan Grimnar, another phenomenal gift. And this one is from one of my favorite channels, Grumpy Guy Gaming. And man, look at the highlights on this face, in the hair. I mean, the details on this model just really pop. And this is the old school metal Logan Grimnar. But man, I mean, it's almost like a comic book, the way he brought this face to life and the hair and everything. It is such a cool model. The eyes, just really, really impressive work by Grumpy Guy Gaming. Thank you so much, Grumpy Guy Gaming. Really, really impressive work. Here's my Logan Grimnar, which I repainted earlier this year, and I wanted to bring it up to my current skill level, my current color scheme. I did a few bit swapping, like a head from Spellcrow, and I really love the way it came out. You'll notice the chains are a little different, so there's a little conversion going on here, but this is my updated Logan Grimnar. And I put a lot of TLC into this, and yeah, I hope you like him. I love the way he came out. It feels so good to have the High King up to my current skill level of painting. Next is a gift from Malaga Wargames, and our homeboy, all the way from Malaga, Spain, sent over a couple of really amazing models, a Librarian on Bike for Freak, and this amazing Lone Wolf for me. And as long as Lone Wolves were still a thing in 8th edition, man, I took this sucker almost every game using the Lone Wolf's ability to just deep strike on the back, you know, and on the back lines and do some damage. I really, really wish the old Lone Wolf unit still existed in our codex, because I really love using this guy. This speeder here is it's a pet project of mine. I bought it as a used wrecked speeder from a secondhand shop, and it was so thick and gloopy with layers upon layers of paint. I mean, it looked like the Thin Your Paints video. Raw. But I managed to paint it up. Like it doesn't look perfect, but it's in my current White Scars colors, and I felt like I restored it to a nice, playable, good-looking piece. Next up is a gift from my brother Atlas, who did a really incredible conversion using D&D Knoll miniatures and Space Wolf armors to create Wolfen. And his idea was that he wanted to show Wolfen in mid-transformation, ripping off their pieces of armor and continuing their battle in a newly turned, like, werewolf kind of form. These look incredible. Plus, they are expertly painted up by my brother Freak, who did a commission for Atlas a few years back. And when Atlas stopped playing Space Wolves because of the Great Tragedy, he was able to salvage a couple of Wolfen and gifted them to me. So thank you so much, Atlas. Moving on to some armor, just like those Wolfen ripping out of armor, I love the Sikaran tank. The Sikaran tank is my favorite tank in all of 40K. I love how mine came out. And this was a great practice. I mean, being able to highlight armor, tank panels with an airbrush, doing glow effects, and the heat bloom effect on the Sikaran. Overall, I love the way my Sikaran looks. It's one of my favorite models in the collection. Next, I have my Leviathan Dreadnought. Now, this is kind of a combination. So I bought the Leviathan, I painted up part of it, but most of the work was done by Brother Richard over at the Nerd Life, because I had him assemble it for me. He did the cool pose on it, and he not only primed it and base coated it, but he did the Celtic scroll work along the sides. When you really look at all the work he did, I barely touched it, you know. I did my custom colors, I did the highlighting of the black with my airbrush, and the heat bloom effects. You know, I did some minor things. Most of the work was done by Brother Richard, though, and I love the way this came out. This base was another experimentation on my doing water effect on some of the bases. Now, this one I am really, really proud to have in my collection. So, Who Took My Dice did a little war on cancer, doing videos to raise awareness about cancer. Brother Richard over at the Nerd Life did a response to that painting up this and holding an auction to try and raise money to donate to cancer charities. And to participate in that, the Frost and Fist got together and took donations from people until we were able to donate, I believe it was $88 to this auction and give to the Nerd Life. And the Nerd Life gave us this model in response. This next entry is, I know these are very different, but it's basically a shout out to my AdMech, which, while not very many of my AdMech models made it onto this list, I have to say, I feel like my AdMech are my best painted army. And this was my first attempt at really painting a brightly colored army. And I learned a lot of things about highlighting, making colors pop and stuff like that. And overall, I just love the way my AdMech army looks, especially all together. Now, a couple of projects near and dear to my heart. This is one of my favorite conversions I've ever done, and it's my Khan on jet bike, the Wrath of Heavens. And so many kits were used to make this beast, and I absolutely love the way he came out. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I love the way he came out. And I love the paint job I did on it, the markings, the way I made his, one of the best faces I've ever painted. Overall, I'm just really, really pleased with my Khan. And definitely love having this guy represent the leader of my White Scars. Another HQ choice, and this one is a little arrogant of me, but I had to make a general for my army that was your Wolf brother. So I call this my Wolf Lord Mythos. And I even painted up the ThunderWolf to look like my pupper, my shepherd named Commander. And again, so many kits used. I love using the custom Canis Rex shield as his shield. It's got a Cromlech hammer. Just so many different bits used. Ulrich the Slayer bits, but overall, this is the way I wanted to represent myself as Wolf Lord. Now, talking about really impressive HQ choices on a ThunderWolf, I've got IDICBeer 40K's gift he did for me a while back, which I was absolutely blown away by. It is the Iron Priest on ThunderWolf, and it is painted up in his color scheme of his 13th Company Wolves. And God, it's just such a phenomenal looking piece. I'm so impressed, and this is such a wonderful gift from IDICBeer. I am definitely humbled and honored to have it as one of the crown jewels of my collection. Now moving on to some of the pieces that are too big to fit in on the rotating spinny bit, the turntable. I've got my Xiphon Interceptor, and this might be, I think, my best painted thing I've ever done. At least I feel like that. Now, I can't take credit for the windshield. The windshield was done by Brother Freak as he was doing the tutorial to teach me how to do it. But I mean, masking off the triangles and everything, shading white on the big span of the wings and stuff like that, and basically vehicle shading white was a challenge. But overall, I'm just absolutely in love with the way that it came out. And my Xiphon Interceptor is one of my favorite models in my entire White Scars army. I love everything about it. My next big boy that's too big to fit on the turntable is my wolf-themed Imperial Knight. I call my Imperial Knight army the Hounds of Tyrannus. And so same color scheme as my Space Wolves, and with some wolfy bits added on. This was built for me, and there's some custom conversion bits by Richard over at the Nerd Life. And again, I really love the way this came out. I love the heat bloom effects. You can see in a lot of the blue areas, there's some very dark shading. It's one of my more successful shading big areas on with the airbrush. And overall, I just really love the way it came out. And I'm saying that a lot, but this is absolutely one of my favorites. Oh, the Wolfen Shield as the little badge that Imperial Knight wears. I love that. So here we have some freehand by Brother Richard over at the Nerd Life. The wolf head there with its very piercing eye that just really looks, it's a soul gaze kind of look, I feel like, with some lightning in the background. And of course, I've got some dead Tau in the lava on the base. Now, compared to my knight is nothing compared to this amazing gift sent to me by Brother Ben Ellis. Oh my God. Look at this Imperial Knight. There's so much going on that's amazing about this knight. Check out the custom Hellfrost blasters underneath the carapace there. The detail on the knight helm. You can see so many cool things. You can see that giant cannon that's actually part of a Stormfang gunship. You can see the chainsword there that's actually got Logan Grimnar's sled as part of the chainsword there as the back end. So much conversion goodness here. It's amazing. There again is that beautiful cannon that's part of a Stormfang gunship. Look at the wear and tear on the metal there. Like there's multiple tones to the stress on the metal there. Absolutely incredible. So much detail. Look on the sword, all the different shading on the blue. Here, the triangle effect looks amazing, but even each triangle is shaded incredibly. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal work. The heat bloom on the back of the engine, such a gorgeous knight. Again, just looking at the blues here, shoulder pad and sword is just so brilliantly shaded. Incredibly well done. I just, again, another crown jewel to my entire collection. And actually, when I put my Knights army together, this guy is definitely, hands down, going to be the leader of my Imperial Knight army. Just such gorgeous work. Such gorgeous work. Even looking underneath, all the details from underneath. You can see where the scroll is. You can see the different parts underneath the Imperial Knight armor. Just everything is so detailed. It's absolutely incredible. All right, guys. So it's a lot of models there, but that is the highlights of your Wolf Brothers collection. I hope that you guys enjoyed taking a look at some of my favorites. And now it's time for me to tag a couple of others. So tagging a few people for this community response. Number one, I'm going to tag Brother Big B over at the Gamecraft Dragon. Really want to see him get in on this collection. And he's done a couple of army showcases. So we've seen a lot of his impressive models already. But I want to see it in one great big community response video. And I want to see who he tags. And then for my second tag, I say if you want to do a big community response video, then you got to get IDICBeer 40K involved. I think he'll be a perfect person to take part in this community response. So those are my two tags, and I can't wait to see you guys. Show us what you got. If you guys like this episode, then make sure that you grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think about any of these awesome things in my collection. And if you feel like it, head on over to Patreon if you're interested in any of the ways that you can support us. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, then Freakaliciousness and I would love to have you as part of the pack, part of the family here at the Frost and Fist. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.